In 1945, a farmer in the Egyptian desert dug up a clay jar sealed for centuries. Inside were books that had been banned, buried, and erased from history. The Nag Hammadi Scriptures. Gospels of Jesus you were never meant to read. Visions of Sophia, the divine feminine. Warnings of Archons who rule the world through illusion. For 1600 years the world forgot these texts, but now they are back. And the question is, why now? Why do these forbidden writings resurface in our age of chaos, confusion, and awakening? The truth is, the Nag Hammadi texts are not just history. They are not just dusty relics. They are messages written for us for this moment, for anyone ready to see through the illusion of the world. Before we go deeper, if you've been following this series and it resonates with you, subscribe right now. Hit the like button, share this with someone who's searching, and drop a comment below. Do you believe these texts were buried for us to find in our time? I want to hear what you think. So why do the Nag Hammadi Scriptures matter today? First, because they show us that reality itself can be questioned. The Gnostics taught that the world is a prison, built by the Demiurge, ruled by Archons. They warned us that the systems of the world, political, religious, even cultural, are not neutral. They are designed to distract, to confuse, to keep us asleep. Look around at the endless cycles of noise, conflict, and division. Doesn't it feel like something or someone benefits from keeping us distracted? That's the Archonic vision. And whether you take it literally or metaphorically, the message is the same. The world is not what it seems. Second, because they remind us that salvation is not about obedience but awakening. Orthodox religion tells you to follow, to believe, to submit. The Gnostics tell you to remember, to turn inward, to awaken the divine spark that already lives in you. That's not just ancient mysticism, that's timeless. In a world that constantly tries to define you from the outside, the Gnostic message says, you already carry the truth within. Third, because they restore what was erased, the feminine. In Sophia, we see divine wisdom as not only masculine, but also feminine. In Mary Magdalene, we see a bearer of secret knowledge, not a sinner. The recovery of these texts is also the recovery of balance. And isn't that what our age cries out for? Balance between masculine and feminine, spirit and matter, inner and outer. And fourth, because the Gnostic vision speaks directly to the sense of awakening happening all around us. Think of how many people today feel like reality is not complete, that there is something hidden behind the curtain, that there are layers of truth waiting to be seen. That is the Gnostic spirit resurfacing, not in temples, but in seekers everywhere. Let me pause here. If you've tried reading the Nag Hammadi texts yourself, you know how difficult they are. Fragmented, symbolic, coded. They don't read like ordinary scripture. They read like riddles. But that's why guides exist, to help decode the symbols, to show the patterns, to illuminate the wisdom. One such guide is the Nag Hammadi, Decoded Hidden Gospels and the Gnostic Path to Awakening. It doesn't rewrite the texts. It helps you walk through them. I'll leave the link in the description and the first comment. Consider it a whispered map for your own journey. Now, the question I want to ask is, what if the Gnostics were right? What if the world really is a prison of illusion? What if the divine spark inside you is the only way out? What if the systems of control we see today are just modern faces of the ancient Archons? And what if awakening is not just a personal act, but a rebellion against the very forces that keep humanity asleep? Think about this. The Gnostics were not only rebels of religion, they were rebels of perception. They dared to say, what you see is not the whole truth. And that is exactly the kind of vision our world needs right now. Because today, truth is harder to find than ever. We live in an age of information overload. We are flooded with narratives, opinions, propaganda, illusions. The Archons would be proud. And yet, the spark is still there. People are waking up, questioning, seeking. The forbidden texts are resurfacing. The old wisdom is returning. So maybe the reason the Nag Hammadi Scriptures matter today is simple. Because they were meant to matter today. Because they were hidden until humanity reached another crossroads. Because when illusion reaches its height, the truth must whisper again. Let me ask you, do you feel that whisper? Do you feel the call to look deeper, to question more, to awaken to what has been forgotten? Leave a comment and tell me how the Gnostic vision resonates with your life. And don't forget, subscribe right now, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who feels the same. Because spreading this kind of wisdom is an act of awakening in itself. The Gnostics taught that when you awaken, the Archons lose their grip. When you remember, the prison cracks. When you bring forth the spark inside you, the false rulers tremble. That is the secret. That is why the Nag Hammadi texts still matter. They matter because they tell you, you are not who the world says you are. You are not a pawn in the game of rulers. You are not defined by fear, guilt, or ignorance. You are light. You are spark. You are a fragment of the infinite, fallen into matter, waiting to rise again. And that truth is as dangerous now as it was 1600 years ago. So maybe the real reason the Nag Hammadi Scriptures matter today is because we are finally ready to hear them. In this series, we've traced their discovery in the desert, the forbidden Gospels of Jesus and Sophia, the vision of Archons and divine sparks, the suppression by the Church, and now, their meaning for us today. But this is not an ending. It is an opening. Once you glimpse the forbidden, you cannot unsee it. Until next time, remember, knowledge is power, but hidden knowledge is transformation. Welcome to Occultus.